They asked me to sing this particular song. With your permission, I will sing the song. O maendana kosukula muiba, abonene kosukula muiba, funi motu beka mabene yo ibama, funi motu beka mabene yo inama, abo inogbo tu beka mabene yo inama. Your Excellency, sir, my president and my dear distinguished colleagues, it may interest you to understand that this song is only calling for all of you to support this bill. I do urge us to play our role in securing for our nation the technological advancement we need for economic prosperity. We can do that by supporting this bill. I so move.
His songs. In Bayelsa State House of Assembly. So, having been a governor there, you had the privilege of presenting budgets. And so you appeared before them. What used to happen there? Because I know that the civil senator, Friday Benson Kobowe, was once a speaker in the Bayelsa State House of Assembly. I thought he was singing, but I don't know whether he was speaking in tongues.
Well, Mr. President and my dear colleagues, but before I come to it, Henry Seriake Dixon, Bayelsa West. Mr. President and my dear colleagues, the bill that has been moved speaks to the need for additional investment in educational infrastructure in our country and in the great state of Bayelsa, and particularly where my colleague who moved this motion comes from. I know as a fact that even when we say our state is educationally disadvantaged, areas within the state also have, like every other state, also have peculiar challenges, some of which in our various tours of duty we try to attend to. And talking about singing, Mr. President, the senator who used to be a speaker in the assembly while I was governor is very good at singing. I know that. And now senators also know that. He used to join me regularly in our praise and worship sessions. And in fact, he himself has a praise and worship band that he leads. And so I'm not surprised that even on this floor, he demonstrated his abilities, all to establish the need for this university. And part of what that song, which he didn't translate, says is that those who went to school are all abroad. They have gone abroad, they have gone to other places doing big, big things. While those who did not go to school are back home, suffering, and are hewers of wood. So the song that he sang, in a nutshell, speaks to the primacy of investing in education. And back to this bill, my dear colleagues, I was very happy when my colleague now walked up to me to tell me that this motion was coming up this morning. And I sat to say a thing or two in support. And I'm pleading, pleading with all colleagues to support this bill, to enable it go through the normal legislative process. I know that members will be asking questions about presence of institutions in the state. Yes, we do have a federal university established by the former president, for which we are very grateful. And that university is already making a lot of impact, which we are very grateful. But because of the educational deficit, I myself, as governor, established 2 universities, University of Africa and the Bayelsa Medical University, because we needed to channel all our youths, take them out from all the creeks, and then get them to pursue education, after building secondary schools across, and primary schools also. And then instituted the loans board, tertiary education loans board, and the Education Development Trust Fund, free. So we started all that revolution. So now you have a large body of young people who now want to go to school. You see, that's why when the bill came for student loan bill came for the president, I was at the forefront supporting it, because I already have seen the effect. That's why there's some level of stability. Because young people have to be channeled towards education. And so I support this bill, and I'm requesting all colleagues to support this bill, let it go through the normal system, hoping that it will see the light of day. Thank you, Mr. President, for your patience and for recognizing me to say a thing or two. Thank you.
Opportunity to even cite where some of these institutions will be located. In view of the fact that Bayelsa is over 80% water and swampy, is there already an existing infrastructure where this university will be sited, or is it going to be sandfield location, which will cost over 10 times the cost of a normal dry land? I just want to know, because if that is the case, it means that we may end up making a law that will not be implemented. And in view of the number of universities you cited, 2, and I'm also aware of the federal government's Niger Delta University, right? Niger Delta
University, Mr. President, is a state-owned university.
Oh,
it was established by our first civilian governor, Chief DSP Alamisia, Medical University.
Okay.
Yes, and the other is a general university.
And so you have 3 universities owned by the state?
Yes, we do have 3 universities owned by the state.
Is there any federal university there?
There, as I said, for candor, as I said, the former president, President Jonathan, took a policy decision to establish federal universities in states that didn't have one. And so we have the Federal University of Otroke, which is also doing very well. And as governor, I even approved a subvention for it. All federal institutions in the state approved subvention for them, which they are still collecting up till now. But the challenge is that the southern Niger, where my colleague comes from, is actually the local government, the largest in terms of land mass and also water bodies. That takes you to the Atlantic Ocean also. And you are right, the entire state is below sea level. You are right. But apart from that, like I tried to explain some days ago, the state is also very large, larger than over 10 states in Nigeria, which people don't sometimes pay attention to. But the southern Niger local government, where he comes from, my colleague comes from, it will take you 4 or 5 days to go round. 4 or 5 days to go round. And the educational need is so high. Even when I built boarding schools and made it even free for people to attend, free, 3 times fed, uniform, everything. I had to build 2 in that local government. And 1 close to where this university is proposed to be sited. So Back to your question. Are there public institutions where if a university is cited, they can take off from? Yes. But as the Senate knows, and you know better, if this bill is passed, or when it is passed, it will take some interface with the state authorities, which, you know, I'm not governor again, so I can't speak as to which public facility should be allocated. But for availability of facilities, yes, there are. If the bill is passed, we're kind enough to pass it, and the president is kind enough to assent to it, I can assure you and this chamber that there are public institutions there owned by the state that can be made available for it to take off from. Thank you.
Nigerians move from here sometimes to go to as far as Cambridge, sometimes Harvard, for the purpose of education when it comes to tertiary education. So no matter how large central Ijaw is, it's not that it's the size of the local government that determines university, because you can finish in that local government and then you move to the next university. My worry is Bayelsa, with the population, if university were to be state by state, can Bayelsa accommodate 5 universities with the population? And based on what you are saying, that it will take 2 days to go around the area because of the water level, the swampy nature of the roads and all that, the infrastructural deficit. Will it be necessary to have a university there with 4 other existing universities, 3 of which are state-owned, 1 is federal, and then he's now proposing this second one? Because immediately he started the song, I knew there was Kelek, but it's not, the song is okay. We can allow it to go for public hearing, and thereafter we look at the nitty-gritty, because we are not supposed to, we are just supposed to look at the general principles here. We are not supposed to look at the in-depth location and all those things. So, distinguished colleagues, is it the view of the Senate that this be allowed to go for second reading? Yes. Those in support say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Yes, Clerk of the Senate. Act to provide for the establishment of Federal University of Science and Technology, Korosei, Bayelsa State, for teaching, instructions, and research in science and technology, for fostering technological innovations, for administration of the university, and for related matters 2024, SB 483. Second reading taken. This bill is now referred to the Committee on Tertiary Institutions to revert to the Senate in 4 weeks. Committee on Tertiary Institutions and Telephone. Leader of the Senate. The Senate.
Mr. President, lead debate on the bill for an act to establish the Federal University of Science and Technology, Korosei, Bayelsa State. The bill was read for the first time on the floor of this hallowed chamber on Wednesday, the 24th of July, 2024. This bill is based on a genuine and manifest need for the young people in my home state of Bayelsa, yearning for the opportunity to acquire education and training. They have sought the opportunity outside their immediate vicinity, but with only limited resources. The university proposed to be established by this bill will address that yearning. But the university will not serve only Bayelsa people. It is an institution of learning to which people from all parts of the country would come and learn. The proposed university is for the training of young men and women, as well as older people in science and technology, which is the driver of the modern economy. Through scientific experimentation and research, people are able to understand the means by which both capital and consumer goods can be produced to meet the material needs of the society. The more we produce, the more our material well-being improves. The university will also teach courses that are particularly relevant to its immediate catchment area, especially marine engineering, petroleum engineering, fisheries, environmental studies. Beyond those disciplines, this university will also produce graduates in diverse fields of engineering, medical science, and information technology, to name a few. The university will award both graduate and postgraduate degrees and contribute in developing the manpower required for building our nation's economy. Indeed, the modern economy thrives on the back of a skilled workforce, and nations are making determined efforts to build their manpower base and strengthen their competition advantage within the global economy. We need to build a manpower base too. The charts are shown that societies with low educational attainment pay the high cost of poor economic performance. Their economies develop at a slower pace than their peers. So if we want to develop, we must educate our young people, especially where they are eager to learn. Whereas there are about 5,900 degree awarding educational institutions in the US. There are only 274 universities in Nigeria, a country with a population of 220 million people compared to a population of 340 million in the US. Our universities are in proportion too few. Every year, millions of young Nigerians write the unified tertiary matriculation exams, but more than 65% of them do not find space within the tertiary education system. According to the National Bureau of Statistics, there were 1,653,127 applicants for admission in 2018, but only 549,763 of them gained admission. Similarly, statistics apply for other years. Where do we keep the 1,103,364 young people who sought for admission that year but did not get? What shall we do to help them? We need to establish more universities to train and equip them, to gain them a hope and a future. That is why the proposed Federal University of Science and Technology, Korokorose, should be established. Establishing this university will also draw young people out of the streets and get them engaged in activities that will brighten their future and the future of this society. It is a weapon against youth restiveness and other vices that may arise from idleness. We would be building up the Nigerian youth if we pass this bill and establish the Federal University of Science and Technology. Mr. President, I was asked by my constituents to demand this university from you and the entire Senate and Nigerians. And while I conclude